All right, so I'm heading to Micro Center because I just got a shipping notification that something's being delivered today that I ordered over a month ago, and I'm very excited about that. Those are actually our podcast shop tables that we had custom made out of walnut and whatnot for our podcast set to bring the RTFM back. Those are being delivered today, and that made me go, oh crap, there's some things I need to get that podcast up and running that I don't have. So I'm really crossing my fingers that Micro Center has what I'm looking for, because I did not check the website before we left. But that's okay, because if they don't, you always find something there that we don't need but we want and we'll get anyway.
Cable Mod's new JayzTwoCents technology effectively eliminates the need for sense wires for your 40 series GPU. JayzTwoCents features a hidden bridge which signals the GPU that a full 600 watts is available, all without the need for fragile sense wires that can easily be dislodged, leading to a black screen and 100% fans. To see the full spec list and power supplies supported, follow the link in the description below.
Look at the Zoom PodTrack P8.
Okay, there's a lot of stuff here. So one of the things that Micro Center's really worked on in like recent years is trying to vamp up stuff that you would need for live streaming, music production, podcasting, whether it be doing gaming or more professional audio capture. So this whole section here just has a lot of stuff that is really more tailored towards that. Even brands that you've probably never even heard of that are very much like staples in this type of genre. Now, I grabbed the Podcaster Pro 2. I have this at home. At home, it's not the best setup because it is designed for multiple types of inputs. Now, this is because I was using it when I was doing like my guitar live streams where I had my interface for my guitar. Haven't hooked that back up. I've been kind of lazy. But it has multiple mic inputs. This is not a Rode ad, or Red, however you pronounce it. I'm just saying it's actually better than the Podcaster 1 because it gives us more fine-tuning control of the EQ and stuff for each particular mic input. And since Phil is extremely loud, Nick is extremely quiet, I'm kind of in the middle. I've got a little bit more of a bassy voice than say Phil, but Nick's like, so we can go in there and really fine-tune our EQ and tell it what kind of mic we're using to give us a better baseline when it knows how much power that mic might need. And the fact that it has actual like uplifters built into it now. So you don't really have to use like a cloud lifter or anything like that inline. You didn't have to on the first one, but it's better with this one now. You can do a better job with the dynamic mics that are not phantom powered and have full control over that. So when we get it set up in the podcast room, then I'll show it. But check this out. Look at this other stuff they got, like soundboards. Do you know how many fart sounds I could put on this? Like, that's crazy right there. So Rodecaster 2, do I want to maybe consider the Zoom PodTrack P8? I don't know anything about that. It really just looks like another version. Well, you know what I do like about that though? If we look at it, the mic plugs have to come out the back, which takes up extra space. The Zoom, they stick straight up. So that's kind of nice because you can then get that to be a little bit more ergonomic, if you will, to not take up as much depth. I'm gonna go to the internet real quick and see what people were saying about the Zoom P8 versus the Caster Pro 2. So when it comes to Reddit, the podcasting subforum says, so here's the title. Zoom PodTrack P8 is actually a better choice than the Rodecaster Pro 2 for podcasting. Hear me out. 2 primary reasons. First, that there are 6 mic inputs for more guests. 4 is plenty for me. I should think it might be 5. Anyway, second is much more importantly, the automatic noise reduction and ducking built into the P8. This really does help to keep the other mics from bleeding over into the quiet persons. It is extremely helpful in most editing. It doesn't matter so much. So I don't have to try and do noise reduction or noise. So we're doing live production on this. Now, to be fair, with the first Rodecaster Pro, we never had a problem with us bleeding into each other's mics. Now, to be fair, we were sitting, so Nick and Phil were facing each other, so the mics were opposite. And I was in between with my mic facing away. We are 3 gonna be in a wedge shape now, sort of talking in the same direction. Now, this is more important for the microphone itself at rejection and how narrow the cardioid pickup pattern is than how well the ducking feature is. So I don't think that's a fair assessment. The Shure SM7B is a monster at rejecting things that are off axis as well as far away. That's why you have to like eat the mic. The Shure SM7B set up properly, you have to practically have your mouth on the foam. So it really is gonna depend on the microphones that you're using. I'm gonna go with the Rodecaster Pro 2 because I know it. I have it, I'm okay with it. I do wish the microphones came on the top rather than the back. I also like the fact, and this is gonna sound really freaking stupid, that the screen is angled so you can see it. But the other one, if you look at it, it's flat. And that's how the Podcaster 1 was, and that made it hard to see. So, okay, going with what we know. So for the monitor setup, I want something that can be kind of low, right? I don't want a monitor arm in the way. You'll see when we get the tables and stuff set up how it's different than we had last time. Yes, I had a monitor off to the side. I could still sort of do that, but each of our tables now have like their own kind of cubby area, if you will. So my biggest concern with this Acer portable monitor is this glossy screen has a lot of glare. So I haven't figured out how the lighting setup's going to be yet. This could end up being a problem. I'm actually going to get this one, and this is a more traditional kind of a portable monitor setup. It's got USB-C. It also has a mini HDMI, and then it just sort of has like this flippy back thing like you would find with like an iPad or whatever. And it's matte screen, matte finish. So it's not as bad in terms of being able to stop the glare. But I'm worried about its size. If it's a little too small, I want to be able to reach out and stuff. So if it's too small, then I might have a problem seeing that. So I'm getting both because we have uses for these outside of just the podcast for the one that we don't use. I think we should go back to the audio section and get a few of the 3.5 inch to 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch.
Just in case.
Quarter? Yeah, just in case we can't find those for our headphones. You know, that's when you love an electronics store, when they even have little things like this that you know you're going to need, the 3.5 millimeter to 1/4 inch, because we lose these all the time, and then we go to set up our headphones and we're like, oh crap. Because I'm trying to see if we can't maybe get this podcast back up by Friday. The set won't be set up like I want it to look, like aesthetics wise, but at least we'll get started. And if I don't ever get it started, it's never going to happen. I'm just looking through to see if I'm forgetting anything. Lighting wise, I think we have enough current lighting that we should be fine. We have extra key lights. I even have Elgato key light too I can use if we want. Chairs are arriving today. There are chairs for that. Tables are arriving. The IKEA order was already delivered for something else. All right, well I think we got what we need for the podcast stuff. Now it's time to just look around and browse because we're here. So when it comes to keyboards, I've been using the Logitech G915 wireless now for like 4 years, almost 5 years.
It's over there. That one.
Oh yeah. This is the 10 keyless. I have the 10 key. Anyway, so I was like, you know what? Now that I've got the office and I have an actual desk and all that, I'm not kicking my legs up on the table like I used to, which is why I wanted wireless. All of this is wireless. I'm gonna get my first like high end to me, although it's the same price as like the G915. I know this is not quote unquote high end, but I'm getting a Keychron Q6 Max. It's a wireless and wired metal frame mechanical keyboard. It's got the Gateron Jupiter Brown switches in there. I'm not a fan of the keycaps, which are these guys right here. So I'm gonna get a different keycap set for it, but I think this might be my entry into
Custom keyboard.
Custom keyboard that's not just an out of the box, throw it up there. I know many of you are like, don't do it. And I know many of you are like, don't get that one for all your reasons. Let me find out myself, please. So this is how it's assembled right now, the Keychron Q6. Many of you might be like, Jay, why don't you just get a bare bones and put it together? They don't have the bare bones in the full size keyboard. I need the 10 key, I want a 10 keyless, and I want the full size arrows and the page up, page down insert and all that. This is the colorway this comes with, assembled. I'm okay with this. What I really actually wanted, I wanted it to be like this way with like the mint and white. But this is like Inland's own brand, and they don't sell these keycaps in this colorway. They do sell keycaps over there in the Inland, but they don't have those. So I'm just gonna go with this. It is actually RGB backlit, I didn't realize it. So I'm also gonna try out these Red Dragon crystal keycaps. They're PBT double shot, or PVT double shot. I know right now many of you are instantly cringing, because once I found out it was RGB backlit, I'm like, oh, I could play around with these. I really don't know if I need them though, to be honest. I don't need them. I really don't.
You can give them to Brian, and then he'll love the RGB-ness of this keycap.
I think he's using like a G915 also. So it's like I'll have to get him a keyboard as well. But I'm really starting to kind of maybe lean towards the ASA profile though, like we talked about, because it's such a throwback to like old IBM keyboards and stuff.
Paralysis, or analysis paralysis?
Well, I thought about getting this to pay homage to my blue color blindness, because all I see right there is just white into what looks like green to me. That's my dilemma. That's why I'm just going with the crystal keycaps and then the colorway that's already on there. All right.
Just run the most obnoxious RGB effect.
Let's make our laps through the build your own section, of course, to see what kind of parts and prices are going on back there right now. And in terms of timing though, it's time to stop playing with keyboards. Our tables just arrived for the podcast set, so I'm really excited. We're gonna get out of here, we're gonna ring this up, and go put those together. My voice is cracked, I'm excited. Okay, so these boxes arrived while we were at Micro Center, obviously. These are our podcast tables, shop tables, which were custom made to order. So I ordered these, I don't know, a month and a half ago, maybe something like that. So we're gonna put them together. I'm assuming these are the legs. So there's 3 of them. And the cool thing about this is, and this is not a sponsor. I hate to have to say not a sponsor. Unless I say it's a sponsor, it's not a sponsor, okay? I should point that out. They're all made custom to order, but they are like wedges. And so you do not return to the retailer. Well, I ordered from you directly, so. It's kind of neat because you can expand or shrink the table as needed. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3 wedges. If you think of like slices of pie, only. So we only need 3. We never really have an in-person guest or anything, so there's no reason to have more than that. But we could. I think they said 9 make a full circle. The room we're in doesn't have room enough for a full circle. So they should go together pretty easily. So these are the legs. I chose the more stylish looking kind of a...
Why does it look like the MKBHD logo?
That way it does.
Meanwhile, at his studio, he gets these like JTC legs, and he's like, "What? I didn't order these."
And all the hardware I like is completely like leg screws. So that's to screw the legs to the bottom of the table. Panel screws. We do have little panels that are designed to just sort of block the front of the table a little bit. These obviously go on the bottom of the table. They're like leveling feet. When you say something feels longer than it's been, that's never a positive.
I mean.
Okay, so these are made to order. I want to say this whole table setup cost me a little more than $3,000. And I know right now people are like, what the freaking China legs and a piece of wood? Okay, first of all, it is all made to order, and these have latches. So you see there's these hooks right here? So the other table will have latches, so they latch together. So they pull themselves together nice and tight. But as you can see right there.
Wow, and all the cable provisions,
Yeah.
that's sick.
All the cable provisions, a plug right there, a USB-A, a USB-C. So the future. Yeah, and this is made from like multiple pieces of wood that's been planed and stuff. So they glue all the pieces together, push it together, plane it. You know, it's pretty cool. So like I said, we'll be sitting here on this side of it. Then probably Nick, Phil, whatever, like that's how you guys will be. So these pieces here, if you're wondering then, what these do is these kind of hang down in the front to give just a little bit of like a waterfall lip. That way it's not just the edge of the table. So it looks better that way. These added a few $100 per table. So R1 goes to R1. You just gotta kind of wiggle it when you're inserting it, and then the screws all fit fine. The head's really big, so it wants to impact on the frame. I feel like they should get slightly smaller heads on these screws. So I had to find like the right amount of centering and wiggling while tightening it, and then it goes. So, but it's made by hand. So it's one of those things where it's like, there's gonna be some imperfections, you know? So you can just see, you line the yellow up with the yellow, line the red up with the red. And so you get the dots sort of lined up. Actually, I should probably loosen the red because they're really tight in the joint there. That way you're not drilling new holes. Oops, I just took that all the way out. That way you're not drilling new holes, you're just lining it up with existing holes. So that's actually pretty smart. That way damn it! That way they use the red, the colored dot system, if you will. There. You look like you're in like kindergarten.
Yeah.
Like kindergarten.
This feels like a kindergarten desk.
Oh my god. Worst group project ever.
All 3 of the tables have been put together now. So now we need to put them where we want them. Then we can latch them together, get the feet adjusted because the floor is not even in this place. So we'll need that. I'm curious as to how much room we're going to have in there, because then I can figure out the backdrop and how the podcast is going to be set up. Once I figure out how these need to go. Ah, like that. I'm gonna do, ow! It bit me! There. Ow! Podcast. We need our freaking chairs to arrive. Do they work? Wow, they actually work pretty good.
It sounds like
All right, so we're kind of getting stuff set up. Audio in here is a little better. Mounted 4 of the panels so far, but as I talk that way, it's obviously a bare wall that's a reverby mess, but I think it sounds better in here already. So this is the NZXT monitor arm. I have the portable monitors you saw me get. I want to use one of those here. But I was like, oh, cool, this has such a deep, like, mounting mechanism. This will probably still fit on the end of the table. Nope, it doesn't. So I was like, well, what if I flip it over? Nope, it will go, but then it doesn't give me enough room to start the threads. I had to undo the C-clip and take out the piece. And I have to make a rubber protector or something for this, because that's just metal. I want scratching up my $3,000. Now it feels very expensive for what you get type of money, but whatever. So flipping over wasn't enough, so what I did is I just kind of made a straight line mark. So I have enough room to add 2 more holes. I only need like a ½ an inch at most. So I'm gonna use it's not set up yet, but I'm gonna use my outside shop area, my dirty shop as I called it, to put 2 new holes in here, tap and thread those. Well, tap them to thread, and then I'm gonna mount it over here in front of Nick's PC, or Nick's area. That way I can use the arm to kind of come out in front of me right here at an angle. That way it's kind of farther away. And then if I need it, I can actually push the mixer closer to me. I've already done the cable management underneath. Yeah, so I need to do that. And then we'll probably call it a day after that, because we've actually been doing a lot of stuff off camera and it's already 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I think we want to go home and sit in a beanbag chair and boxers eating Cheetos.
Just shove it in there dry. It's the best way.
Tap it good. Cut! We'll come back when it's working. Yay! The first thing done with the outdoor shop thingy.
Sick.
But yeah, that's gonna be good. So I'm not gonna tighten it down. I don't want to scratch the table up here. The bottom I'm not too concerned about. But there we go. So the first metal cuts in my new, not completed outdoor shop. So look at that. Okay.
Nice.
So I set to manage, like, this is the weirdest looking power brick, right? This is actually the power brick for the Rodecaster. Okay, time to get out of here. So now I have a way to mount the monitor. That's the biggest deal for me. The computer will just go on the floor right here in front of it. Camera over there. If I leave it as a corner setup, my wife is now going to help me try and figure out a nice decorative backdrop thing. Gotta have the whiskeys, because part of the RTFM show, I'm at the WAN show. Part of the RTFM show for me is about just enjoying a nice, I almost said a cold one, but no, just whiskey neat. Okay, I'm excited now, because I was sweating, like, how the hell am I gonna mount the monitor deal? Okay, time to get out of here, guys. I think we've had enough vloggy shenanigans for today. This place is getting much more messy. Like, turn around, Phil. Show them that side of the room now. Hey, a clean shop is a not used shop. I was like starting to cut the metal in here. Like, why am I in here? And then I went out there. So.
I forgot. I bought that whole part of the building too.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.